Good evening, you're very welcome to the Masters Championship round number 16 of Division 4 here at Singapore. My name is Graham and I'm going to do my best to bring you the action tonight from a track. Well, that's going to think you could see one of many things here at this track. We'll see what the race holds. I think there could be some rain, but we'll find out how it all is set to play out. But a little bit of late start. We've got 11 minutes left here in qualifying. Tom Chad, his speed is fastest right now, 36.3 on the hypers. Ethan Nassi 37.3 on ultras, and a couple of guys kind of splitting strategies here and there, so we could see some rain, who knows when, and if we do, you better buckle up for a long journey, because Singapore at the best of times is a long track, a long race, 31 laps I believe, around a track that's like in the 36s basically, and wet weather, full wet weather can be close to 2 minutes, so so we'll see how that goes. But let me just set the affairs straight, grab the YouTube link, grab the stand-ins and all that good stuff, and we can get cracking here today. So a lot of people on the soft so far. We'll see how that turns out for them. Again, a hull to play for in the race. Let me just pop this in. And we can get ourselves started. So at the top of the stand-ins, it is, I believe, it is 10 cash on 174 points, easily in the way, 4 points ahead of SJ Mella in second, who I believe is not going to be around for a little bit. So DJ Williamson then will pick up the pieces in third place, 132 points, and then go back a little bit further, Comments, fourth, 93 points, Donkey Dan in fifth, 78, and then just behind him is Damien on 76. And in the constructors, Williams are ahead of 180 points, 10 points ahead of Mercedes, and a further 21 points ahead of the McLarens. So 9 minutes left. Who is on a lap? 10 Cats circling around on softs, 36.8 on softs. That's a great lap time from 10 Cat. He'll be interesting. He'll be interesting one to watch if he goes for the soup or if he goes for the ultras. But I wonder if anyone can get near that lap. It will be interesting to see if 10 Cat will actually bother to do another lap on the ultras. The thing you have to take into account here at Singapore is that there's no super soft. It's hypers, ultras, and softs. So if you're, a bit riskier to kind of bank on your position here. If you're a 10 cat in second place and want to stay, want to leave it as such, not go for another flying lap after that, you do leave yourself very vulnerable. Some people who say it's going to have the hypers or the ultras, with that 2 or even 3 steps softer, it's going to leave you in a difficult spot if they improve. So who's on a lap? 10 cat is not Seek. Oh, and Sergeant Hitman is out of the session. That's in sector 2. Can we pick anyone up in sector 2? Sector 3, I believe it's down here towards turn 14. That's where Seek is approaching now. Oh, there he is. He is, yeah, outside wall at turn 14. So there is Sergeant Hitman. His mesh is end in qualifying, so no lap time for Sergeant Hitman. They have to trundle on, presumably from the back, and I think that may have affected Seek's lap, or he may have been just on an out lap. So whatever the case was, he's not going to improve on this occasion. Most people either in the pits or on an out lap. At this stage, Tooney Boy out lap, he's in 6th. CJ is just come around towards turns. Oh, a bit of contact there. He's got wind damage on the front left as well, so that won't do him any good. He'll have to come in and pit to replace that. No good. Pound around Singapore on a, with a damaged car. You will not be getting very far, and he has to be careful to get back in one piece, and takes the correct pit entry. So you have to be watching there for that tonight. The pit entry here at Singapore is very easy to, well, it's easy to take a right, and it's also easy for others to just skip over it as if it wasn't there. So rules must be observed, and we'll be seeing if anyone behaves naughtily at that. Danny Jr. then goes provisional pole, 36 flat on the hypers. So fastest man on track at the moment. Seek looks like he's going for another run as he heads towards the Anderson Bridge. There it is. And the hairpin of turn 13. Oh, wiggle on the back end. And if you've got bad tyres, if you're on old hypers, then that's going to be a place where you could easily lose the back end and find yourself into a wall. I think the wall will be a very popular place tonight. Lots of drivers have lots of conversations with it, I'm sure. I've already seen a few already in this qualifying session, so it won't be lonely tonight. Ooh, the barriers at Singapore never is. Never is. But I'll tell you what though, Darth Angels looks like he's struggling on these hypers. Even, I know this is his outlap, but even still, this car not looking completely hooked up as he would like it. But anyways, let's go for a run on the hypers. Carmax has gone from the softs to the hyper, so interesting choice. Again, I'm assuming this is to do with weather. So, oh, Toonie Boy's off the track. He's parked at turn 4, is that? Turn 5 for the first DRS straight. There's turn 6, and then heavy braking towards turn 7. So like we pick up someone on a lap. Darth Angel's teammate is on a lap. Seek has gone to 8th. Carmez just coming through turn 6 now. So I think, well, CG Danny Jr. comes into the pits. I think the first 4 then is probably, was it Darth Angels? I'd imagine so. So stick on board with the Force India as he twists and turns his way through turn 13. The full ones get right, but if you get good traction out of here, I actually think this should be the DRS straight, to be honest, or an additional DRS straight at Singapore. I think that'd be good, just to help a little bit more overtaking, because this track can be difficult to overtake unless you're running a significantly thinner wing. It could be a tough one. And Toonie Boy again is parked up just to allow the Ferrari of Carl on his merry way. Less than 5 minutes remaining now in this qualifying session. Excuse me, so we're getting to the nitty gritty. People come out on their laps, and Darth Angels will peel into the pits, and yeah, 37-mile-an-hour pit lane, very slow. Seek pulls his way. Oh, Carl getting very, very raggedy and pulls into the pits and bails on that lap. It's possibly not enjoying the way those hypers are feeling, or maybe just invalidate his lap. It's very easy to do around Singapore. So there's lots of places. Turn 1 here, for instance, where Toonie Boy's about to enter. You want to take half that curb. Don't run too wide on that exit curb though, because you can also invalidate your lap that way. Run too wide there, you can also invalidate it. And then again, heading down towards turn 5, you can invalidate it if you cut the corner as well. So plenty of hazards to negotiate in sector 1, and then more so in sector 2 as you break down towards turn 6. Don't cut that. Don't run too wide here either at turn 7, because you can also invalidate your lap there. Constant minefields to dodge here. Again, the curve is a little bit higher there, so you don't necessarily, it's not as necessarily as tempting to run over it as it is some of the others. And kind of similar story here, quite high curbs. You can still invalidate here though at turn 12. Sorry, turn 11 that was. And then heavy braking after the Anderson Bridge on 13. Gearing your way up this main this other main straight really. And then again, you can easily cut the corner here as well, heading into turn 14. Run too wide, that'll be an validation as well. And then towards turn 16 and 17, again, you want to take a lot of the curb, just like that on exit. Maybe a bit more pace though, he's backed off the lap. But that's the idea. If you do take too much, you can invalidate your lap there as well. And last bit of traffic to negotiate as such, or the last bit of last minefields to dodge are these turns 18. Sorry, that's turns 20 and 21. There's a lot of turns around this track, so you have to forgive me if I get a few wrong. DJ Williamson crosses the line to be in a lap now. He's getting himself enough time for 2 runs, I should say, on the ultras. Let's see what he can do. Tom Chad out on set of ultras. 10 cash. He's got himself a set of the ultras equipped. Not out on the track yet though. Toonie Boy, I'd say he's just waiting to see what the story is, because he's looking very fine at the moment. Toonie Boy starting another lap after that. Debacle. Carl is out on ultras, so that hypers runs a bluff. Darth Angel's on ultras now as well, so a couple of guys, Donkey Dan out on ultras as well. So Donkey Dan's not set a lap time yet, and Octors on the hypers. A couple of guys that haven't set times. Hypers straight up for Octors, Donkey Dan on ultras. I expect Donkey Dan to be up there as well for this one, and as 10 cash leaves the pit lane. So getting to the nitty gritty now as qualifying begins to wind down. Tom Chad is just getting ready for his out lap, and Octors takes provisional pole. 35.7 for Octors on the Hypersofts. So that is, and Danny Jr. won't be improving either, by the way. It's too late for him to come out. So Danny Jr. has provisional pole position ripped away. Darth Angels starting the lap, and this is be his last flying lap now. So anyone crossing the line from here on out, it is one flying lap available to them. Where's DJ Williamson? He's getting close here. Of course, we know we started the lap. We'll have one more after this. The sister McLaren. His teammate is on provisional pole at the moment. Oh, but they're scraping the barrier. Turn 20, 21. And goes into third with a 36.3. And I don't know if he'll have enough ERS for one more run. But he's got the job done. Donkey Dan get ready to start his lap. So who do we need to pick up first then? Toonie Boy won't be improving. He is off at turn 1. A very sloppy off session and retires on track, which you're not supposed to do. So that'll be a qualifying ban at the next race. Hopefully no one falls victim of that. And Octors, is he going for a second run as Octors? He could be the one to watch here first. He's got very, very low amount of ERS though, but see, oh, that's going to be close to invalidations. He goes to his turns 16 and 17. And I think, yeah, I think he has backed off. If he was indeed on a lap. So where's Tenkat then? Tenkat's just coming through turn 1. 36.8 for Tenkat, of course. For now, Ethan Nusi rather. Come down towards turn. That's turn 5, if you give me a Singapore's got a lot of corners. So who do you need to pick up then? Where's Carl? He's getting close to the end of the lap. Not quite so. Okay, we'll go about Carl then. He's the first one then. Goes around the final corner. Carmez crosses the line and it's a 36.4 for Carl. Puts himself into the top 5. Octors is in the pits. He's done. We assume DJ Williamson is done as well. Who else on a lap? Chaz. Ethan Nusi is going through Anderson Bridge. So I think the person we'll be picking up will be Donkey Dan. Excuse me, can we actually go on board Donkey Dan? There we go. So he heading to turns 18, 19, and then 20 and 21. And then just 2 more corners to hook it up then. So Donkey Dan yet to set a time. So we'll complete this flying lap. Can he take provisional pole? He can. 35.3 for Donkey Dan. Where is Tenkat? Coming through the final few corners now. Can Tenkat beat his fellow countryman to take provisional pole position here at Singapore? Yes. 35.2 for Tenkat. And he's back on provisional pole, and unless is Ethan around the final corner, yes he is, but he's still in 9th, and Chaz, as he rounds the final corner, this won't be pole position either, and that will do it for qualifying. So it is Tenkat, the championship leader, who is on pole position here ahead of Donkey Dan in 2nd. 3rd place then is Octors on the Hypers, Danny Jr. 4th on the Hypers, DJ Williamson 5th, Tom Chat 6th, Carmed 7th, Toonie Boy 8th, sorry, I'm just going to call him Euthanaxy. I guess it's Euthanaxy, not Ethan. So apologies for that. He's in 9th, Chaz is in 10th, Seekin 11th, CJ 12th, Darth Angels 13th, Hitman 14th. Yeah, the only one yet to set a lap time after his accident there at turn 14. So plenty of work for him to do. But of course, he'll have free choice of tyres to begin this race, where I assume it's going to dry and then possibly phase into wet, if everything I hear is correct. A little bit overcast, but it is dry, so we will see a dry start at the very least here in Singapore. Plenty of decisions to be made outside the top 10 for the 4 drivers that are outside the top 10. For the guys inside, well, we don't know how. I think it is raining, or going to rain, and based on a few comments I just saw in the PSN chat, so that's where that comes from, by the way. It isn't completely just out of the blue. Let me just see if anyone can confirm. I don't see anything, but I do think it could be raining, and the weather would suggest that it could easily do so. But We'll play along with us, see how we get on as the formation about to kick off, and the tires could be indicative of what is going to happen here. So, right, so let's just run through all of this then. So, ultra soft runners, the majority of the field on ultras. 10 on the front, Donkey Dan, DJ Williamson, not Tom Chad, Carl Meds, Toonie Boy, Euthanasi, because I'm Nasi, sorry, I just can't be bothered. Chaz, CJ, Sergeant Hitman are all on the ultra softs. Hyper softs, Octors, Danny Jr., Tom Chad, Seek are all on the hypers. Seek is the only one outside the top 10 on the hypers, and then there's one man on the softs, and it is Darth Angels. The softs could honestly probably go the whole race distance, to be fair, but ultras will be quicker at one point or another. So that's the situation. 31 laps around Singapore at twilight. It should be night, but it is twilight. Someone didn't put the weather on, the time of day on official. I did not host this lobby, by the way. So Tenkat's actually made an absolute leap for it. Has he left them well behind? He really has. So not that the ultras. Sorry, it's Tenkat. It's Donkey Dan has jumped the gun here ahead of everyone else. Tenkat's nice. He's backing up the pack here as he should be. Not that the ultras need a ton of time to warm up, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. As Donkey Dan ran the final two corners and just going through turns, and 19 and 20 or 20 and 21 now is Tenkat. So back in the pack up, getting those tires up to temperature. The big man who needs the tires up to temperature is Darth Angels, who those softs will take quite a bit of warming up to do, and they will not be the most spectacular set of tires to begin this one. And so, but if there is rain to come, he's on a very handy strategy, but depending on when that rain is due to arrive, we'll find out in due course if that is indeed the case at all. Seems dry though, and it's actually less cloudy than I thought it was, so maybe there's no rain after all to come, but we'll find out. We'll go on board with Octors. He's on Hypers, and the guys on Hypers are, assuming they don't light up the rears too much, they will get a great start off the line, but not the biggest run down towards turn one. We'll find out if anyone can make an upset bid on the top two here. Here we go then, and away we go. Very, very quick start, and Octors is going to try and pull alongside. And look at Danny Jr. with the lightning start. Oh, contact between him and Octors, and that allows Donkey Dan to go on through unscathed from the attack from the Hypersauce, but they've got through relatively cleanly by the looks of it. All well behaved, heading down towards turns 4 and 5. A bit wide is Toonie Boy. Oh, a bit of contact at the back, but it doesn't look like anything has kicked off massively. So good start here from Division 4 as they wind their way down towards turn 7. And it's still Tenkat ahead of Donkey Dan. Good gaps there as well. And at the back, oh, Sergeant Hitman, Darth Angels going side by side, and Sergeant Hitman just going around the outside with a tyre advantage over Darth Angels. Oh, and there's been contact up ahead, and multiple instances of contact. Sergeant Hitman's hitting the back of one of the Force Indias, or I think that Mercedes actually. Toonie Boy's missing part of his front wing, so I think that's where it ends. So some sort of incident happening back there. Oh, a lunge there from DJ Williamson, thinking for a move on Tom Chad. Could have been very, very nasty there had that gone awry, but the big damage down here. Not sure what caused it, but I know Sergeant Hitman was kind of a bystander and then just couldn't stop himself in time. Oh, and CJ's into the barrier where Sergeant Hitman was binned it in qualifying. So, but luckily for him, he keeps hold of his four wheels, and look at Tom Chad really struggling through the end of the sector as Tenkat leads them away 1.1 seconds ahead of Donkey Dan in second. Danny Jr. in third, dropping back just a bit, and he's under pressure from Octors. And there's Tom Chad and DJ Williamson. Oh, very, very, very feisty racing going on between the two. DJ Williamson's going to go for the dive. He's overcooked himself somewhat, and that leaves Tom Chad an opportunity coming back towards him in turn 4. Or it's turn 3 rather. No, nothing out of 4 either, and then head down towards 5. So DJ Williamson getting that move done, but it was quite risky stuff indeed. A bit of a dive as well, as further back. Euthanasie looking for a move on Carl, and he's just biding his time because Tom Chad and DJ Williamson are going hammer and Tom's at, and that's bringing Carl and Euthanasie into the fold here. And all they need to do is just sit back and wait. Tom Chad is on hypers, and you can see now what effect that's having. Yellow flag is sector 2. Oh, Sergeant Hitman's lost more of his front wing, is what's happened there. So looks like Tom Chad has really cooked his hypers. Don't remember how many laps he did in qualifying, but he's just really struggling right now. So it could be an indication that the temperatures are already gone on those hypers, already through the roof. If he's struggling, we'll see, we'll know. Oh, and Carl slammed into the back of him and has damaged his front wing. And that's a big, big blow for Carl. And now he'll be under attack from Euthanasie behind him. Will he pit, or will he continue on? I'd imagine you could come into the pit and put on the soft compound tyres, and they'll go to the end of the race. So just an error there from the Ferrari, and has to be careful not to lose more of his wing. He's going to carry on, which is always a dangerous prospect here at Singapore. I see how much he's losing though as he goes very, very wide. The DRS has now been enabled, and he's under pressure from Euthanasie, who's used almost all of his ERS here already. So, oh, Danny Jr., big one for Danny Jr. The back end stepping out big time there, and now the two McLarens looking to really size him up. One is on hypers, one is on ultras. I wonder if they'll do a switch or what they'll do, because he could easily fall to the two of them, could DJ Williamson, but let's find out. And he's going to back off is DJ Williamson and let Octors go through on Danny Jr. He has to tread so carefully he doesn't do the same thing that Carl did and hit into the back of another car who's on different compound tyres, are sliding, possibly not at their best. And there you go, DJ Williamson then has got that move done. Will Danny Jr. try and fight this back? Thought about it. Oh, a little bit desync, and that's pushed. Oh, that's pushed DJ Williamson into a wall, and that's his damaged his front wing as well. That's a big disappointment, and there is no need for Danny Jr. to stick his car there. The battle was lost. The gap wasn't there, and that's just not sensible driving at all from the Renault driver. And there'll be some words after that, I'm sure. Not the best bit of driving, but his teammate has cleared it, and well, even if he's on the less than ideal strategy, he has got his full wing with him, so he can soldier on. It's Carl Med still all over the back of Tom Chad, even with that wing damage, and Euthanasie can't get by quite yet. I'm sure he will have seen the piece of red front wing travel across the track once he made contact with the back of that Toro Rosso. Will he come in? No, he will not. As Danny Jr. though does come into the pits, Octors is in as well, and Danny Jr. sped into the pit lane, and that's a 5-second stop going. Not the first one we've seen today either. CJ has also got one and has picked up another penalty there for his troubles. So not the best race going on for CJ and Sergeant Hitman. Having a little squabble down there, but we're going to stick with this one though, as Carl's hustling Harry and Tom Chad will go down the inside into turn 5. Can't get the moves on. Oh, big contact between Tom Chad and Carl, and that's going to allow Euthanasie to get by 1 and then 2. Surely that was very fighty stuff from Tom Chad. Oh, a bit of a squeeze, and that almost squeezes Tom Chad into Carl and into a wall. So Carl, oh, he's made a big error in judgment there, and I think that's Tom Chad's wing damage now as well. So scruffy stuff here down towards from in the midfield as well in this race. So it's gone from bad to worse, and Euthanasie I think has managed to escape. I'm not sure if he's got wing damage. He could be missing part of that left front, not 100% sure. I think he could be and all, as Donkey Dan picks up the first penalty of the day at the front. It's already basically 2 seconds behind 10 cat, and now add another 3 onto that, and this has allowed Chazmeister to catch up here. So Chaz then looking in a good, if all these cars in front of them have wing damage, then I have to say Chaz is looking good, but of course track position is key here at Singapore. Just has to bide his time. A lack of patience has been shown here early on. It's not about the first stint really. You need to bide your time and wait for the car in front of you to fall apart, or do that in the case of Tom Chad pull into the pits, and he will replace those hypers and that front wing, I am sure. That leaves Chaz into 6th. Carl, Euthanasia, they're carrying on. I mean, look at the gap. I mean, all this hustling and harrying, because of course, DJ Williamson's also got wing damage to his car. They're already 14 seconds behind Donkey Dan, and then even further behind Ten Cat. So, very much a two-horse race here at the front, unless a safety car or weather intervene here at Singapore. So, ultra soft for Tom Chad. So he's not going to the end then. Thought that he may have gone to the end on a set of softs at that stage, and well, unfortunately the field has already kind of spread out a bit. Lap 5 of 31, so it's not the most amazing spectacle, but a lot of time, of course, for it all to close up again. And already there's Carl, Euthanasia, and they're all close to DJ Williamson. As CJ has already got another 5-second stop go, which they are serving right now. Octors on Fresh Ultras, going to make mincemeat of Seek, and that'll be Octors into P8. Octors is also looking at some good points here as well, as is Darth Angels. So the guys who kind of avoided the carnage are obviously the big winners here, because a lot of people have been caught in incidents early on here at Singapore. So they're looking good, but of course there's a long way to go, as Euthanasia is within DRS now of DJ Williamson, and they're dropping so far back, 18 seconds now behind Donkey Dan, as Danny Jr. gets by Seek as well. Danny Jr. of course have not too far out of the pits himself. I thought I saw a car go to the wall for a second there, but surely we're going to have an overtake here. Euthanasia right behind DJ Williamson, pulls over to the right hand side and is going to get that move done, and DJ Williamson backs off on the throttle as well, just for insurance that no mistakes are made. And well, as Euthanasia up to P3, and Carl right behind this one as well. As Seek is in, puts on a set of these soft compound tyres, and he can run till the end of this race, weather providing. See if Euthanasia if he can lose less time as such to Donkey Dan, because it is just it's quite, CJ getting out of the way rather. It's a long pit stop here. It's close to about 30 odd seconds, given the very slow pit lane entrance and the pit lane speed limit. So you need a good bit of time to make a pit stop here. So Donkey Dan and Tenkat, they would not emerge in front of this little group here if they're to pit right now, but I mean, the rate it's going, it probably won't be too far from that kind of advantage at the front there. So I mean, Tenkat's holding it. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'd forgotten that Tenka was the other Williams here. Yeah, Euthanasia does have wing damage. You can clearly see the difference in the end plates there on the left hand side. And DJ Williamson is into the pits then, and is missing the rest of his front wing by the looks of it. So somewhere along the road, as Chaz into the pits as well as is, and stopping extremely early. Better to err on the side of caution rather than pick up another 5 seconds of for a stop go. And okay, that's just a visual glitch by the looks of it. Or has he been held? It's a very long time in that pit lane. Was DJ Williamson knowing he had to change a wing and all, and that's brought Chaz right up to the back of him. And then emerge in front of Tooney Boy, who is just into the final corner and has already made a stop onto his softs. And there you go. 9th for DJ Williamson, still looking for some decent points here, as well as Chaz in 10th. He's gone to have Ultra, so that is, if you can keep the temperatures on those down, could get to the end, but that would indicate a 2-stop really for Chaz. We'll see how he gets on with that. So who's catching? Is anyone catching anyone at this stage? Octor is in 6th, trying to close down Darth Angels on softs. Danny Jr. a little bit further behind that, and is missing. Is that the entirety of his front wing, or the majority of it? Missing a lot of it, as CJ is out of the race. Oh, there it is. He's lost to the same place that Sergeant Hitman's lost, and a safety car would really spice things up. And Donkey Dan is into the pits and replacing a front wing, soft compound tyres are going on that Red Bull. So somewhere along the road he's picked up wing damage, and a VSC has been deployed for that incident by the looks of it. So the virtual safety car is out, and will anyone take advantage of that in the pits? Kind of everyone that is, well, Danny Jr. is going to come in and replace that wing, but kind of everyone who was around that area of the track has either gone by or had already made a pit stop. So as Danny Jr. speeds into the pit lane, Donkey Dan just behind Darth Angels. Has to be careful, because that is overtaking under a VSC. Surely that's a penalty. There's no way he can get away with that. It's yellow flags. If I don't see a pop-up on the screen when this VSC disappears, then I will be shocked, because that is blatantly overtaking under the VSC. He's not a lapped car. But it's still out, this VSC. Very long VSC. There it is. That's green flag but racing, but that's astonishing to me that that is allowed to happen. I would feel quite aggrieved if I was Darth Angels. Let me just see if anything came off of that, because that was ludicrous. Look at all this already. No, not a thing for that. Undertaken under VSC. That's quite extraordinary. But it does move Donkey down for position to a P4 ahead of Darth Angel, so that does clear that aspect. He's got 4 or so seconds before he reaches the back of Carl. He was just behind Euthanasia then in second. So the Williams 1-2 at the moment. And I wonder if that may have helped out Donkey Dan in a big way, because although he had to replace a wing, while he was in the pit lane, the VSC was deployed, so he would have saved a decent little bit of time. So we'll see. If nothing else, I think maybe possibly that wing change has possibly been kind of negated there, the time lost from that. But we'll see what happens as Octors gets by Darth Angels into P5, so Octors then continuing his charge on the Ultrasofts, moves up into 5th place. As Donkey Dan continues to close the gap on Carl and Euthanasia. And Darth Angel's just too far back of Octor, so he can't just have the tyres to fight that one really. So about 30 odd seconds or so between Donkey Dan and Tenkat. Could be close. It could be close, and I think Tenkat is gaining an advantage. Donkey Dan's about to come to some traffic who have yet to pit and are nursing damage. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this, but he needs to deal with it. Whatever way he's going to deal with it, he's going to deal with it quickly, because if not, then he's losing a bucket load of time to Tenkat, and he's already up against it with a penalty. Just need to be losing more time here behind damaged cars with old tyres. But let's see then, where's Tenkat? And he's carrying on for another lap, and why not? He's extending his advantage at the front. And unfortunately for Donkey Dan, he's kind of caught these two in the kind of the worst place on the track, where it's just tiptoeing really against, unless you're sticking up the inside, you're just tiptoeing really through third sector, as you just hope that whoever's in front of you doesn't lose the back end. You can see already 30 seconds, so this is good stuff for Tenkat. Donkey Dan will be screaming inside that helmet, and you can see the difference. He should get Carl here with DRS heading down the main straight, over the left hand side, and he's going to make that move. Space is left, a squeeze, but it gets through. Then that's an important move, but can he hold it? Decent run for Carl out of turn 3, but it has to file back in. And now can Donkey Dan get Euthanasia heading down this straight? It's important he does, otherwise he could be spending the rest of the lap behind that Williams. And he does get the run, pulls over to the left hand side, down the inside, and makes the corner. Runs a bit wide, might get a warning for that, but he's got the position done, and he's lost about 3 or so seconds in that little getting by those two cars there. How important will that be? Well, we'll find out, I'm sure, soon enough. But for now, Tenkat is doing well on that set of Ultras. But how soon will it be before he dives into the pits to replace them? This car very close to the back of Euthanasia. Be careful not to damage his wing more. And Tenkat's going to carry on once again. Can Carl get by Euthanasia this time? No, stuck behind him. And Octors has joined this little fight as well. It's all for P3, provisional P3 of course. Not sure how the actual grid will shake down once it's all said and done. There's a long way to go. We're basically less than just over a third through this race, and a lot happened in this one already. It's hard to gauge where anyone is at the moment, other than Tenka and Donkey Dan are in the top two. After that, who even knows? Well, will any of these two dive into the pits? Carl is going to dive into the pits then. That releases Octors. And Carl then taking that wing damage very early on. He's sustained that damage. Took 10 laps. And into the pits, where I can assure you there is a team waiting for him. And Toonie Boy's out of the race, Sector 3. Now, will that cause anything? Not sure where he's done that in Sector 3, but we'll stick with this battle between Octors and Euthanasi. Pull over to the right hand side. Is Octors going to keep the move? It looks like it, because Euthanasi just tucks in and settles on that. That's Octors into P3 then, but he does have another stop to make surely. As Carl emerges P10, P9 rather, just ahead of Danny Jr. in P10. So plenty of points up for grabs here today in Singapore, but in what positions other than first and second? Your guess is as good as mine. And it's kind of just, yeah, unless, apart from this little battle here for 9th, nothing really else going on track at the moment. Is Tenkash coming in? No, carrying on for another lap. So I do wonder if Donkey Dan possibly just came into the pits, possibly predicting a safety car will come out from that accident for CJ. Not too sure, but certainly Tenkat stretching those ultras a bit further than Donkey Dan did at the very least. But look at this little scrap. Has to be careful here, this Danny Jr., because overtaking down into the hairpin at turn 13 is a little dangerous, and you really do need, it takes two to tango through there. We need to be literally right alongside them, and it's a tough part of the track to run side by side heading into it. So it is a tough one, but he's all over the back of that Ferrari. Of course, the tyres can't be yet to get the temperature, and he's got to be careful not A, not to desync him, as he's done already to DJ Williamson, and B, not run into the back of him. It's Carl getting those tyres up to temperature. Can he pull away once they are up to scrub? First lap is always difficult on the soft compound tyre, or the hardest compound tyre in this case. And you see what the dirty air effect has on the aerodynamics of that Renault heading out of the last two corners, just disrupting his run and affecting his launch down that main straight with DRS. Sector 3. Oh, and that's Seek, who has completely missed his braking point. Looks like his wing is intact though, so he's able to carry on without damage. He is in 11th though, and a long way behind 10th, which is this battle here, of course. And I think so. Tenkat's he's carrying on, but he is losing time now towards Donkey Dan. Do you lose time possibly negotiating that car of Seek? Not sure. His wing looks fine, but he's lost a good bit of time this last lap. Let me just check and make sure where he's lost that time. 28.2, 39.2, 34.8. So a lot of time in Sector 3 loss. I think just at this stage, Donkey Dan just all around quicker at this phase, and I think Tenka may have to consider pitting now. If he does, he might still stay up as Darth Angels gets by Euthanasi, because Euthanasi does make his pit stop on from the ultras, and will surely go on as softs. Will he replace his wing while he's at it too? Yes. Williams' crew are there ready with a fresh nose cone and soft compound tyres to boosh onto that car. And the way he goes, and he should, oh, he's going to end up behind. Will he be ahead of Will he be behind Carl? Let's find out. Carl's kind of dropped Danny Jr. just a bit here, and Euthanasi, oh, he's well behind, so that just shows you the undercut here. With that just shows you how powerful the undercut can be, even on the set of soft tyres. He's lost basically 5 seconds to Carl because of that, and both changed their wings. And here we go then. Tenkat is into the pits then. Lap 13 he took those ultras, and now this will be the interesting one. even if he ends up behind Donkey Dan, he's got a significant tyre advantage in that they're 5 laps fresher. And Danny Jr. is out of the race. See if he can actually be a long way back. To be fair, now that Carl's gone, that Youth Natty's gone past. Not sure where in sector 2 that has occurred. But away 10K it goes. And Donkey Dan rounding the final corner. He's going to get him here. He's going to clear him. But his tyres will be that much fresher. We'll see how much of a difference that can make. But he's got time to make up. As he comes out behind the other Red Bull. So he's lost about... ignore what's on the car. He's actually on softs on the top left corner of the screen. He's on softs. And 6 lap fresher. We'll see what he can do with them. He's got 6.5 seconds to make up, and that could be even more by the end of this lap. By the time it takes for them to get up to temperature. DJ Williams will go for a dive on Tom Chan. A little bit of contact, not the cleanest of overtakes, but he gets the move done. Moves into P5 then, so DJ Williamson looking okay here, despite his early troubles with that wing damage quite early on. So even if 10Cat had pitted when he had a 31-second lead, he would still be about 4 or 5 seconds behind Donkey Dan. So shows you how long it takes to make a pit stop here. And Carl over the back of Chaz with DRS heading down towards turn 7 on the outside. Will he be able to drive around the traction? Yes, and the outside comes the inside then for turn 8. Oh, beautiful helicopter shot, and that's an easy move for Carl. He moves up to 7th place then. So making some good strides. Oh, bit of contact. Chaz Meister tried to leave his car in there. Very, very risky. The move was done. And he was very far back to make that move and almost ended up taking it himself. And Carl, well, could have been easily anywhere really at that stage. But thankfully no damage for either of them. By the looks of it, and they can carry on. Although Chaz is struggling on those older Ultra Softs. And can't imagine it will be too long before Octors and Tom Chad come into the pits, and the one stoppers will be the beneficiary of that, surely. Well, they will be the beneficiaries of it, because they'll drop probably down to 8th and 9th respectively. At that stage they're losing a lot of time making the 2 stop here, because even you can't pit for another set of ultras. Surely softs will get you to the end, and you're behind everyone else on softs by a considerable margin that you're not going to make up. So yeah, difficult one for the 2 stoppers. We'll see how it pans out. There is basically, we're still over we're not even half distance yet in this one, so I mean, yeah, settle in. If there is rain, I mean, I'll probably will put on the oven, get my dinner sorted during the race, because it's well over an hour. Well, it's an hour basically for a full wet race, and even this stage will be pushing 50 odd minutes. I would say 40 odd, 50 odd minutes for this one. So we don't need any weather making this any longer. Lap 15 is all we're at. 7.3 seconds the gap between Donkey Dan and 10Cat. So it did end up creeping over to 7 seconds in the end between the front 2 runners here, and it shows you the power of the undercut here is quite strong. But we'll see how if it comes. Well, it will come back, you'd imagine, to 10Cat eventually, and when it does come back to him, we'll see what kind of inroads he can make on the leading Red Bull. The other one is down here in 11th place, a lap down, missing the right hand side of his front wing. So just trundling along, hoping for one more retirement that would push him up into a points paying position and just bring that car home from there. Euthanasia getting by Chaz Meister, heading down towards turn 17 and 18. Sorry, 18 and 19. Fresher tyres, of course, as Chaz is struggling on those. And look at that guy is struggling to make the corner. When he come into the pits and change them this lap, really, really struggling, and he will indeed. So he's had enough of those ultra softs. He'll come in. That's fooled a lot of people in this race. That first line is not the pit line. The second one is where the 37-mile-an-hour speed limit is, and I can imagine that one or two people have slowed down thinking it's that first line, sped up again, and haven't slowed down in time to 37 miles an hour to 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 make the pit entry limit. So fresh nose for Chaz, and he'll be ahead of Seek by a considerable amount, and he can just be a very lonely race for him from here on out in ninth, which is where he'll finish basically if no one else around him retires. We'll find out. Excuse me, yeah, it's I mean, what's there to say here though? Tenka is giving me something to say. Fastest lap, then eating into then this gap between himself and Donkey Dance. That's under 7 seconds now. What's the lap times between the two? For a comparison, that last round 40.6 for Donkey Dan, 39.9. So he took a good 7/10 out of him there. That last lap, still under 7 seconds. See how much further he can take. The guy's got a lot of time to bite into that gap, to be fair. I do wonder if the best thing for Donkey Dan is maybe if he hasn't lost, I don't know. See, I think Tenkat will eventually catch him. There's a big difference in the tyres and a lot of time to do it, because it looked like already that Tenkat was the quicker driver of the two anyways. So there's a pace advantage there to begin with. Add in then the degrading tyres, the time penalty. Would he be better off making a pit stop, trying to turn the disadvantage to an advantage in terms of the softer compound? Probably not, given that the ultra soft is not very durable around Singapore, and given the fact that a pit stop does take a very long time here at Singapore as well. So at this stage, even if he's getting reeled in here quite quickly by Tenkat, his best option is just to stay out. Although he wouldn't be under threat from Octors long term, because Octors does have to pit again. Will he pit this lap? We'll find out. The gap is continuing to crumble. He's taking over a second out of him this lap. 39.8, so he's pumping in the fastest laps of the race here is Tenkat. So Donkey Dan, I'm sure, will be worried. Octors does peel into the pits. 13 laps in Ultras is good to be fair. Oh, he's not slowed down in time, and he's slammed into the pit wall. Oh, that's embarrassing. That's added another 7 seconds for a wing change. So, to be honest, he's lucky he just did it straight on. If he tried to make the pit, ended up hitting his wheel solely on that part rather than the front wing, you've lost his wheel. So, lucky boy indeed for Octors, and his teammate will get by, but he is out again, and he will pop out well in front of Carl Meds, you'd imagine. There he is. Where is he? No, he hasn't. You get ahead of Ethan Nassi. Oh, it's going to be tight, very tight, but Ethan Nassi looks like he's going to stay ahead, but Octors is on fresh tyres, so he should be able to make some ground here eventually. So I was going to say he was going to stay ahead, and he's going to basically stay in 6th, because Tom Chad pitted for a set of fresh Ultras. So is Tom Chad going to do the 4 stop then? 13 laps, 14 including the lap they're on. He might get those to the end. It's a stretch, but he might do it. But I had forgotten how close kind of Carl and Euthanasi were to Octors, but Octors 2.1 seconds behind Euthanasi with 5 lap fresher tyres, 6 seconds behind Carl with 7 lap fresher tyres. So he could get himself back up to P5, but we'll find out as Tenka just absolutely setting the timing screens ablaze. Continued 39s, whereas Donkey Dan can only do 40.3. He's actually just done his best lap in a long time as Donkey Dan with the 40.3, but he's still in the 40s nevertheless, and they're not 40 flats or 40.1s. It's a bit higher than that. So 5.2 seconds is the gap, but it is coming down all the time, and the longer this wear carries on, the harder it's going to be for Donkey Dan to keep that position, as Darth Angels comes into the pits, having taken his softs 18 laps, and he's going to be one to watch here in the second stint. He should come out behind Octors and in front of Tom Chad, but unlike everyone else, he is on the ultra soft tyres. They should get to the end now from here. So and it'll take less time to warm up, of course, as well. So, interestingly poised is Darth Angels, and now even more so with Octors picking up that 3-second time penalty as well. So, Darth Angels one to watch here in the second phase of this race. Lap 19 of 31. It's kind of spread out, but it's going to bunch up again in places. So it is just a matter of the waiting game. I do think 10 Cap will catch up to Donkey Dan. Octors will catch up to the guys in front of him. Darth Angels will catch up to that group then as well, including Octors. So I do think there is plenty of action yet to come, but for now it's just kind of just waiting for it to happen, waiting for it all to come together. And that might not be until lap 25 or 26 or so, but we see it, kind of see it all come together. So unfortunately, just have to sit tight until then and just try and find something to talk about, I guess. Although Octors is getting closer and closer to DRS range on Euthanasia, who has not made a ton of time up on Carl. So Carl looking good here for now. Sergeant Hitman picks up a penalty then as well. A long way behind everyone else, but just hoping, I think, just for one more retirement. Which could come. Which could indeed come. The other thing to watch for as well is that DJ Williamson will have taken his tyres almost 25 laps by the end of this race if he carries on, and that's another penalty for Donkey Dan. So that basically rules him out of this race win now. 2 penalties, but to be honest, he could pick up a penalty almost every lap the rest of the way pretty much, and he'd still be in front of DJ Williamson in 4th. A long way back is DJ Williamson to Donkey Dan. 43 seconds to be exact, so he could make another pit stop at this stage and he would still be in front of that McLaren for 3rd. Despite everything for DJ Williamson though, he's actually done very well to get back up to 3rd. His pace has been decent, even despite that wing damage early on and obviously having to replace the wing. He's got 10 seconds over Carl, and I don't see him really losing 10 seconds to Carl either. So he's just trying to nurse those tyres to the end, and I think he'll be looking pretty handy for a podium, but it's a long way to take the softs. To be the longest anyone in this race has taken them by quite a margin. Already, even like he got CQ on 14 lap old softs, and between himself and what was it, 18 laps that Darth Angels took his, so you're looking to get at least 4 or 5 laps more than that, and that's quite long to begin with. But very possible. His teammate, meanwhile, has come to the back of Euthanasia, and if he gets a good run out of turn 5, he'll surely be able to set himself up for a move down towards turn 7. Is he a bit too far back though? Picking up the toe overtake mode. Euthanasia's gone defensive. They're going to force him to go around the outside, just coming back over. There is just enough room. And the outside because the inside then for turn 8. The contact, and Euthanasia able to keep the position for the time being, but the more they squabble, the more they bring Darth Angels into the equation. 3.2 seconds and 10 again. 39.5 is a fast lap by a considerable margin. Beating his own record, of course, but I do expect Darth Angel should be beating that on his Ultras. If he isn't, that's well, it just tells you a lot that you need to know about this race. But Octor still can't get close enough to make a move, so he's caught up to the back. Again, passing is one thing, overtaking is another thing. Around, oh, and Hitman is gone. And well, that does leave 10 runners now, but of course Hitman was hoping to be one of those 10 runners, and now he is no longer in the fray. And a safety car would be great right now, but no such luck of something occurring. It's 2.2 seconds in the gap between Darth Angels and Octors, and Octors still trying to get to the back of this Williams, and that's still not a fast lap from Darth Angels. That's quite It's quite sad given these down ultras. But Euthanasia running very, very wide. But Octors is still not really close enough to make an overtake. How much can he reel him in down this straight? Down Raffles Boulevard again. Euthanasia's gone defensive, forcing Octors going around the outside, and getting good defensive driving from Euthanasia there. Got good drive out of turn 7 as well, and that helped him keep that position, keep far enough in front of Octors that he couldn't really send one down the inside. Wasn't tempted to send one down the inside. Good driving there from him at the front. It's 4 seconds between Donkey Dan and Tencat. But of course, you know, Donkey Dan's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. It's a bit better from Octors out of turn 13. And we have a look down the inside towards turn 14. Could have, to be fair, he could have done it, but elected against it. And now he's just dropping closer and closer to Darth Angels. He's not making as much time as I thought he might be on those ultras. Maybe he's got wing damage and maybe he didn't replace that wing, but he should really be closing up a lot quicker than he has to these guys on older and harder tyres by a considerable margin. But here we go then. Octors, good run out of the last 2 turns. Oh, he just left himself a bit. He's left himself wanting just a bit more from that last turn, and again thinks about it, but just needs to stay close enough out of turn 5, and Euthanasia sliding a bit. Can he get a good run here this time round? Hesitant on the throttle, but should catch up again to the back of this Williams. Can he get the move done this time? The inside's left open this time. There's going to be contact between the two, forcing Euthanasia off the track a bit. When he goes for it, he's going to try and fight it. Very, very risky with the barriers right there, but Octors looks like he's going to get the move done this time. And takes P5 away from Euthanasia, and this squabbling is bringing Darth Angels very close to DRS range. And that's a corner cushion. That's a 3-second penalty for Euthanasia as well. So I think possibly a bit of frustration showing here for Euthanasia. It was a bit harsh being bumped off the track like that at the outside of 7, but it was a move that was building anyways, and ultimately no surprise that Octors has got done in the end, but could have been a bit cleaner, of course. Gap has not really changed much at the front. Still around 4 seconds. As you look at that already, Octors is driven away, and Darth Angel's already in DRS range of Euthanasia, and surely is he using it to his benefit down the main straight? Will surely get a move done soon if he gets a good run out of turn 5. Let's see how he gets on. Out of turn 5. He's not going to be close enough, is he? If he uses his ERS, he could get close. But I think it's this lap will be the setup lap, and next lap the one where he goes for it. So we'll find out. Lap 24 of 31. Long race. My voice is getting very shattered. And making the contact with the wall there is Darth Angels. So bear with me 2 seconds, I'm gonna have to get some water. Beautiful. Hopefully I can keep me going for these last 7 odd laps of this race. Darth Angels then, he's getting close, and he's got himself ever closer this lap, and straight down this is the lap where it'll all come together for him. But how's his straight line speed? Octor's straight line speed is pretty decent, even with ERS and DRS. Let's see if Darth Angels have any difficulty negotiating that. Williams. Not a great run out of turn 3. See, the longer these ultras age, the less likely he is of making a pass, and I think it's possible that the best of those ultras may have come and gone. And he didn't really make great use, and he's almost cooked his braking entirely through there to turn 7. And he didn't really make great use of those ultras when he had the clear space behind Octors and Euthanasie. He didn't really do a lot, or he should have done more with what he had. So he's dropped out of DRS range now after that mistake, and see if he can get back in it. And if he can get back in it, can he make an overtake? His time and his tyres are running out. Look at that, 50 seconds between Tenkat and DJ Williamson. That is quite something. This shows you how Tenkat and Donkey Dan are in a league of their own as Seek comes into the pits to replace those 19 lap old Sauce. So he couldn't get his tyres to the end then. So what does that mean for DJ Williamson then? Can he get his tyres to the end? Because Carl is catching, not rapidly. It was 10 seconds 4 or 5 laps ago, but he is gradually catching. So could there still be a podium on for Carl? I think DJ Williamson may have a penalty as well. So we'll see what he can do. If there's still a fight for that podium spot, can DJ Williamson hold on to the end of the race? And that is Tenkat with a penalty. So that kind of draws one back then. So if Donkey Dan can extend the gap to over 3 seconds, he would be in a position where he could win this race, as Darth Angels use Nathy side by side, heading down towards turn 7. Can Darth Angels out-traction them? I think he's going to. Euthanasie will try to hang around the outside. Oh, it's going to be very, very close. Outside comes the inside. The advantage back on Euthanasie now. Can Darth Angels drive around the outside? He can, but there was a bit of contact there, and I think Euthanasie might not be too pleased about that. Didn't see what happened fully, but definitely has to correct the car. He was slow off on the throttle after that, and I think there was a bit of contact made there, but it does put Darth Angels then into 6th, and we'll see if he can hold on to his tyres. There could be yet hope for Euthanasie to have another go if at the very end, should his tyres completely fall off the edge. We'll see. We'll see. So let's just double check this then. So there's 2 penalties for Donkey Dan. He got himself 2 warnings on that last lap, so has not helped himself at all, whereas Tenkat has just picked up his penalty. So 1 more for Donkey Dan, that really will be it. There's still a chance right now. Not a great chance, but a much better chance than it was a few laps ago with Tenkat picking up that penalty. Oh, wow, big slide there. Had to get that one under control. Big slide from Donkey Dan, really pushing that car. 19 laps on those sauce. We talked about DJ Williamson getting those to the end. Arguably Donkey Dan is really going to struggle as well. Just their 1 lap difference basically between the two. So it's going to be give or take then. Well, Carl hasn't really closed up massively. He's going to bring it to under 6 seconds very, very soon, you'd imagine. Tiptoeing his way through, and Octors is catching him now as well. Could Octors even have a look at a possible P4 here? 2.6 behind Carl. I think he has got a penalty though, so that will definitely help Carl. And look at this, Euthanasie is back within DRS, as there it is, Donkey Dan's 3rd penalty. It was coming, you could sense it was coming, and there it is. That should officially then confirm Tenkat then for the win of this race. Look at Euthanasie, this back is sliding everywhere. So I'm not sure what his tyre situation is, if his temperatures are off the roof. Shouldn't be, given his soft compact tyres, but it's just very slippery. The setup could be indicating 9 ballast, 8 ballast even perhaps. Actually 9 ballast would be suicide around here. Possibly 8 ballast, but very, very slippery. Williams underneath them, and the gap at the front 1.7. Tell you what, if there are no penalties here, this would be a thrilling conclusion to the Singapore Grand Prix, because Tenkat is reeling them in, but Donkey Dan's got track position and the laps are beginning to run out, so it's a shame that penalties will decide it. And I guess that is the argument then for regular corner cutting, is that races like this are decided by penalties and not by racing themselves, as Euthanasia then picks up another penalty. Ooh, Darth Angel's a bit of a slide though. The counter argument to that is, of course, that it should be about driver skill, and cutting corners is part of not cutting corners is part of racing, and if you cut corners you get penalties. So I mean, you know, I do see both sides to it, but it's a shame that it will be decided by penalties, not by racing on the track. So from basically fourth downwards, I'm interested to see where this result will lie. That was a big moment for Carl Menzies coming out, and Seek is right there as well, and Seek is on the hypersofts, and he's much quicker than these guys, but he's a lap down, so he has to be really careful how to go about this, and this is going to cost Carl time, because he's going to be constantly looking in his rear view mirror. There's nothing worse than negotiating a back marker who's on quicker tyres a lap down, and it leaves everyone in a tough situation, because the car behind wants to get by, and the car in front is just desperate to kind of they just want them to go away. Oh, and that is completely unnecessary. Thankfully Carl was not... Oh, he's got wing damage though, he has got wing damage, but that is completely ridiculous driving from a lapped car to have to run into the back of someone there. That's just absolutely disgraceful driving. There has been some pretty poor driving, has to be said, today. That could be right up there with the worst of them, as yeah, Euthanasia, it's behind Darth Angels. I'll be that is bad. That is so bad. As Euthanasia and Darth Angels side by side. Ooh, almost made contact there through turn one, but you could tell that Darth Angel's tyres are completely they're not completely gone, but they are really struggling, and the advantage is switching back to the soft. So I thought maybe there was a chance Euthanasia could get a run back at Darth Angels. Well, this looks like it could be it. DRS then, Darth Angel's trying to defend it as best as he can. Can he hold it round the outside? He should be able to. Outside becomes the inside for turn 8, and there you go then. Moves back into that position, but we have got a little bit of a race here between the top two. They have finally caught each other on track, and now he has got DRS now as well. Can he make the overtake? Not this lap, he'll have one more chance to do so to get it done on track. And Octors and Carl with that damage, and Octors should be able to go right on through. But Carl defending it. Oh, he's defending for all his life, and I don't really blame him. He's working. It's been a long old slog to get that P4 as it is. As you know, I wouldn't want to lose it, but will there be a chance then for Tenkat on Donkey Dan heading down the straight towards turn 14? A wobble for Donkey Dan. He's got to hold on for the time being. Octors will have DRS on Carl as they begin lap 30, and he's going to go down the inside. Will he be able to keep it? Carl swoops around on the racing line. Oh, he's left the space. It's good racing between the two. Slightly unfortunate, that is a bit unfair in terms of they're both not really. It's not a fair fight in many ways with the damage to the car in front, but he's still holding on, is Carl, to be fair. As leaders are about to begin the final lap, but can he hold on? Octors has run out of ERS, and that could be a big moment for Carl to hold on to that position. But again, it's not really so much a straight line speed; it's more so the middle sector, or the aerodynamics. So it's basically it's aerodynamics in general this track, but more so middle sector than the first sector. He has dropped back. Oh, and he's had enough. As Octors, not sure if he's into the back of him, but he's had enough. And look at this then. So one last opportunity for Tenkat to get this move done. He's closing, but he's not closing enough on Donkey Dan to make a move on track. As Octors popped out again, he's still in that wall, and that's so unfortunate for Octors. I don't know what happened there. Possibly, it would seem like possibly a wheel disconnect or a controller battery dying or something would be the only thing I could think of there. But the two leaders on the last lap then, not really racing for the win because Tenkat's got less penalties, but for a track, it's all about getting on track really. You want to do that as a racer, finish first on track. DJ Williamson doing well to hold on to that P3, but to be fair, it would be a great shame. It's a great shame that penalties was decided, but because I have to say, despite the tyres, Donkey Dan's done very, very well to really still be ahead at this point. I would have thought 10K would have been done and gone by this stage, but they're rounding turns 19 and 20 for the last time. There's a car in front. That is it's not Seek, it's Tom Chad. He's going to slow down to finish this race a lap early. But here they come then around the final corner. Donkey Dan's going to win the race on track, but 10Cat extends his lead at the top of the table, finishing in first place. So he wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Good racing there from the two of them. Their pace was utterly supreme and dominant. Tom Chad finishes 7th. Nothing can change that now. Seek is done in 9th. I'll have to wait a bit longer then for DJ Williamson, who was taking those tyres 24 laps, those softs. He's done very well to get a podium. This is the best pair I could have done. Oh, that Chasmeister facing the wrong way. It is. He's got wing damage, but literally cannot be overtaken by Seek, and he cannot overtake Tom Chad. But I thought with that wing damage, I thought it was going to be an uphill slog for DJ Williamson, but he's managed to put himself back into 3rd. Slightly fortunate. He's got a few penalties. A penalty or two. Would Carl have caught him within 3 seconds? Probably not. But he rounds the final corner regardless, and he finishes in P3. Good result for him. Makes a bit of time there on Donkey Dan, but still over a minute behind. Carl then around final corner, despite his various foibles, will finish in P4. Euthanasie will finish P5. P8 then secured there by Chaz, and then Darth Angels will round out the finishers in 6th place. So a long old race, but yeah, eventually we determined a winner, and it is 10Cat extending his lead at the front, and he hoists, or she hoists that trophy rather. Or is it a she? I don't know. I think the one on the left is. I apologise. Anyways, 10Cat wins the race ahead of Donkey Dan in 2nd, DJ Williamson in 3rd, Carl Meds 4th, Darth Angels 5th, Euthanasie 6th, Tom Chad 7th, Chaz 8th, Seek in 9th. Only 9 finishers. We lost Hitman, Danny Jr., Toonie Boy, CJ, and Octor's disqualification. How long does this race take in the end? It took 52 minutes, so it felt longer, I can assure you, but let me just have a look at the yeah, I mean, not too happy is Carl, you could probably imagine, and a couple of various other people trying to explain their race kind of situations after. Yeah, a lot of sloppy driving, it must be said. So I think the stewards could be quite busy with that one. But that's going to do it for round number 16, I believe, of TMC Division 4. Next up for these guys is, yes, Octras, his wheel did disconnect, just coming through on YouTube there. So I thought so. It looked too, the incident itself looked kind of too straight on, and then him not moving then kind of after that, whether there are still points to kind of be gained. That's super unfortunate, but I had a feeling that's what did happen. So unlucky for him. Next up though for these guys is it's Japan, isn't it? I'm almost certain it's Japan next. So that'll be an interesting track. No, it's Russia. I think it's Russia next actually. My mistake. Japan comes after, I believe. So Russia, I believe, is next for Division 4. But next for TMC is Division 3, same track, Singapore. There's going to be rain for one of these races, I can assure you. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time.